Alright guys, so I'm outside McDonald's right now, about to grab a Big Mac, but there's a little twist to it, so you're gonna have to stick around and wait and see. So burgers, bro, $5.60 on a Big Mac. Medium, gonna go with a Coca-Cola. Psych. And we're gonna go for medium, and then add to order. I've never bought a Big Mac in my life, I swear to God.
First time?
Yeah, first time. I haven't bought McDonald's actually since I was in grade 6. I watched that. Is it Super Size Me?
Yeah.
What's that video that movie about McDonald's?
Yeah.
I watched that, and then I couldn't eat McDonald's afterwards. I said, this is kind of judgmental of me, but like I feel like sometimes when I'm at these like fast food restaurants, I just feel like looking at the body shape of people who be eating here, just to kind of look at, you're like, okay, is that's all. Alright, got the goods, but let me show y'all what we're working with. Bro, I haven't had a Big Mac in like my whole life. It's my first time I've ever seen a Big Mac. Seen that. The thing is, this looks cool, but I think I could do a healthier version. I could definitely do a healthier version of this at home. Alright, so first step is to just give this out because I'm not actually eating this. I don't want to just waste it and throw it out. I was thinking of just smashing the Big Mac for the video, but I think that was a bad idea. So I'd rather just give this to someone who needs it more than I do right now. And so that's going to be the actual twist, which is just making a healthier version of the Big Mac at home. And I'm going to make 2 variations, and then you guys can just let me know which one you like better in the comments. All right, guys, so we're back from McDonald's. We ended up giving a Big Mac to someone who needed it a little bit more than us. Now we're going to cook everything from scratch. So we have all the ingredients in front of me. So right now we got some potatoes. So before we left, we actually cut these up, dunked them in some water so that it starts soaking a little bit. And then in terms of other ingredients, we got cheese, some singles, low-calorie cheese, lean ground beef, some mustard, some pickles, some sesame seeds, onions, medium cheddar, some lettuce, of course, and some burger buns. So now we're gonna start kind of cooking everything up and we'll kind of walk you through the whole process. All right, so first up, obviously the potatoes are gonna take the longest because you wanna let them soak a little bit in water. So we did this before we actually left. So I'm just gonna dump these out. I actually don't have a strainer, so I'm gonna use a bootleg method to kind of get all this water out. All right. Okay, this is as good as strained we're gonna get. So next up, I'm gonna pat these guys dry, getting more bootleg, paper towel, fry. Just pat it dry. That's the method right there. So depending on how quick you go, this is either gonna take a while or you can do it pretty quickly. And then after these, we're gonna season these fries up a little bit and then just toss them into the air fryer. Yeah, so we'll see you guys after I dry up all of these fries that we got right now. So we got the onions on the stove right now. Just finished drying the potatoes, so I'm gonna saute these. Not saute, I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil in here, give it some love, and then I'm throwing these into the air fryer right after. So for the air fryer, it's gonna be about 375 for about like 15-20 minutes, and you want to shake them halfway through, and then depending on how they come out, because I think every air fryer is a little bit different, you're gonna want to leave them in for more or less time. So just kind of use your best judgment. Okay, so McDonald's actually doesn't go this far. I just cut some onions. We're gonna saute these now for the burger. So throw these on the pan with a little bit of olive oil. Whew. Oh shit, these are a hell of a lot of onions actually. Now just add a little bit of salt and pepper. All right, so now we're gonna let this cook down while we work on the rest of the ingredients. Yeah, so we're just putting the fries in right now. As you can see, not all of the fries are gonna fit. So just depending on how big your air fryer is, you want to just use your best judgment. And we're gonna throw these guys in for about 375. I don't have a 375 option, so I'm going 380. I'm going a little bit higher. That just means I'll decrease the time that it's in by a little bit less. And you wanna go 15 to 20 minutes. So probably gonna stick with, let's go in the middle. Let's go 18. And you're gonna wanna make sure you shake these halfway through. And that's gonna make sure that it's cooking evenly. If you can't shake it directly with your air fryer, then just like open it up manually. Set a timer on your phone, whatever you gotta do. Just like make sure you're flipping the sides so that both sides of the fries cook evenly. All right, so I'm just taking the beef out of the pack and just letting it sit for a little bit. I think it's always best to cook your beef at room temperature, but I don't really know.
Do you know why?
I don't.
I can tell you why right now. Because when you're cooking it, if you put it in cold, it tenses up the muscle fibers too much and you won't get that much of an even cook. But it's really not that big of a deal, but it is better to cook it room temp.
Okay, yeah, what he said. All right, so I went to the store. When I went to the store, all they had was romaine lettuce. Preferably, you'd want iceberg lettuce. But I mean, sometimes you just gotta work with what life gives you. So I'm gonna go with this. Could have gotten a better one of these too. This looks a little crusty, but anyways, it's going on a burger, so it's fine. I'm not that picky. Okay, so I'm gonna wash these now. Probably only need about 1.5 heads. I'm gonna wash this first and see how much I get from it, and then from there, I'll be able to tell how much I need. So a good rule of thumb as well for romaine lettuce, you always want to make sure that you take off the exterior leaves because those are typically the most dirty ones. So this guy, as you can see, he's like on the exterior. So this guy's just gonna get removed and he's just gonna get binned. Just gonna throw this guy in the garbage right away. So now we're gonna start making up the burgers. So we have about 1 pound of ground beef right here. So I'm just gonna cut this into 4 equal parts. Oh yeah. All right, 4 equal bricks. Then the next step is to just kind of make these into like little meatballs. And then once we throw these guys onto the pan, I'm just gonna smash them down. You could season these too, like sprinkle a little bit of salt onto these, or you could just wait till they're on the pan. So as you can see, these are raw, they're not seasoned right now, but we're gonna season them as we throw them onto the pan. Right now, just saute these onions.
Just trying it. Just trying it. Don't try it. Oh, I said don't try.
Then I'm gonna check on these fries. Like I said, you wanna shake them halfway through. It's 7 minutes, so we didn't get halfway, but. Okay.
They look actually pretty good.
Yeah, they actually look pretty good.
They're on their way.
Okay, this shaking shit wasn't really working that well,
Do you have
so.
tongs? Don't hurt yourself, bro.
This is fine. I have a high heat tolerance. All right, so now while that's all going, we're gonna work on the sauce. So as a general rule of thumb, you wanna do 2 parts mayonnaise, or in this case, we're gonna use Greek yogurt. But in this case, I also ran out of Greek yogurt, but I got Balkan yogurt, so we're gonna have that instead. It's like the same thing, pretty much, more or less.
Healthier.
A little bit healthier. So we're gonna do 2 parts of this. And in case you're wondering, I got a cup here. Ran out of bowls as well. So ran out of a lot of things today, but we're making it work. All right, so we're doing 2 scoops of this. Then we're gonna do 2 parts ketchup.
1 part ketchup.
1 part ketchup and 1 part mayonnaise. So it's gonna be.
Eyeball it.
Yeah, so eyeballing.
That's good.
Good enough.
And then
And the mayonnaise. Yeah. Yeah. 0 calories, so I can go a little bit more crazy with this. And then the last and final ingredient that we need to bring this all together is going to be a little bit of pickle brine. So pickle brine is just like the juice that you have in the pickle container. Just have a little bit, teeny bit. Now we just mix this up.
Scrape on the side.
So this should be a little bit more red. So we're just going to add a little bit more ketchup. This is the coloring. You need that red 40 dye. And obviously the sweetness.
Pinky that. See what this.
Oh shit. Yeah, it actually tastes like Big Mac sauce. All right, so that's the Big Mac sauce here, finished. Got the burgers, we're gonna turn these into smash burgers. Got the lettuces. Fries just finished. So we're gonna take these out.
Ooh, they look good.
All right, so just finished the fries.
Salt.
Now we just gotta salt them. One important reason that we wanna salt them as soon as they get out is so that the salt actually sticks. Yeah, almost a good idea. Grab these, see how they taste actually. And all that's left is just gonna be baking the burgers. Or not baking, cooking the burgers. And then putting it all together in the sandwich. All right, so what we're doing, chopping up some pickles right now. We're hitting these guys the long way. And then we're gonna start the burgers on the pan. So heating up the pan right now, getting these pickles chopped up. Nice and thin, making sure we're going the long way, of course. Pickles all cut up. Now, time to throw these guys onto the pan. Actually, just for some texture in the sauce, we're gonna chop up like some pickles and like some really thin pieces. Just give the sauce a little bit more flavor, a little more personality. Now we're gonna add all of this to our sauce. Let's get a little swirl. Now this is some true Big Mac sauce.
Some true macro-friendly.
Macro-friendly as well. Protein heavy, protein dense.
One would say anabolic.
You could say anabolic. Time for the burgers onto the pan. So essentially, pardon?
Do 2 at a time.
Okay, so I'm gonna be doing 2 at a time onto the pan. So we got the burgers right here. Remember, I divided these into 4 from that little brick I had, which is 1 pound. And so I'm gonna throw these on. I don't have a flat spatula, so this one has holes in it. Because it has holes in it, if I press down, some of the meat's gonna come in through the holes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press down, but I'm gonna have this guy on top of it. So that now, instead of the meat coming through, it's gonna get stuck in the middle, and I can kind of like get a super, super flat patty. So and again, because it's like beef, and beef already has a ton of fat in it, I don't need season the pan or anything, or sauce the pan or anything. You could, but that's just adding extra calories for no reason. So what we're gonna do is just gonna throw this on, just like that. Okay, this one's coming out.
Good.
These like rectangles, these aren't even patties.
Like Wendy's.
Yeah, like Wendy's, exactly. Okay, so now that it's on, I'm gonna season this with a little bit of salt. And because these guys are so thin, I only need to season one side, so it kind of works out. And a little bit of pepper never hurt nobody, so. Okay, that was a little bit too much, but this is good. Yeah, so now we're gonna let these guys cook on the side. We don't wanna touch them too much until we see the edges start to get a little brown. So this one's coming along, this one's coming along too. And again, the flatter the patty is, the quicker everything's gonna brown. So because these guys are a little bit thick, it's taking a little bit of time, but we're patient. So first meal of the day, we're good. All right, so these are looking pretty good. So I'm gonna flip them right now. Oh shit. And then I'm gonna immediately hit these guys with the cheese. So this is like a little bit of a light cheddar. And this is 25, I think it's about 25% less fat than like the regular cheddar cheese. Yeah, so now since we don't have much time, we gotta go to the buns and we gotta get everything ready. So we gotta go Big Mac sauce first, and then pickles, lettuce, then we can drop a bun on top. So we're gonna go with the Big Mac sauce. Get a good amount in there. Get some lettuce. Yeah, so this layer is good for now. Then there's 3 layers for Big Mac. This is the second layer,
Yeah,
the
so
second bottom bun.
Yeah, so you can prep that one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna prep this one. This one is gonna be Big Mac sauce. Spread this out a little bit. The next thing we're gonna do is make sure we get some onions in. I'm gonna give myself a good hearty serving of onions. And then we're gonna make sure we get some lettuce on that. And then we're gonna get the actual burgers going. Yeah, these guys are hot dog shaped. Had some technical difficulties there. But what we're gonna do as well is just to match the shape, we're gonna throw some pickles on that too. And now what we've got is a good looking burger. So first layer, as you can see, you've got the onions, burger, lettuce, pickles. Second layer, of course, and then the third layer. So now this is the Big Mac final boss sandwich. Let me get a different side. I don't like how much.
That's right there.
It's time to join the fruits of our labor now. So I'm gonna just pretend like the camera's in here. All right, so I'm gonna do that. Whoa. It's crazy. How could I forget? I need all that. I want that last bit too. Yeah.
I don't get shit.
Bro, it's just crazy, bro. As you can see, this is better than a Big Mac, better than anything you can ever buy at McDonald's, and half the calories, more protein, and overall this tastes way better. So you saw how this one went. So now let's get to the other recipe that we got. All right, so we just finished making the actual Big Macs, and so this is gonna be the part 2, which is gonna be the actual Big Mac salad. And so honestly, I'm really full from like that Big Mac sandwich. But anyways, this will get you even fuller than a sandwich will, because it's lettuce, and for those of you who don't know, lettuce is a leafy green that takes up a lot of space and volume in your stomach. So this is especially good if you're trying to lose weight, just because you want to be eating more foods that are voluminous. I don't know how to pronounce that word, voluminous or whatever. Volume, I mean, just words like foods. Essentially, it's like foods that just take up a lot of space in your stomach. And so lettuce takes up a ton of space in your stomach. So if you include more greens and things like lettuce in your diet, you can eat more of them, and these have not that many calories in them, and you'll be more full while being able to stay within your calorie goals and targets that you set. So for the first step, we're just gonna make sure we're cutting up all of the different lettuce pieces that we have. And then from there, I'll show you guys like the next steps. So right now we're just gonna make these really thin, and in a few seconds, you're gonna see just like that, our lettuce is thinly sliced, and we're gonna move on to the sauce. This is gonna be the same base as what we use for the Big Macs, but instead of just a splash of pickle juice this time, we're gonna use a couple tablespoons to give it a more dressing-like consistency.
More?
Mix this. You can kind of compare this with vinaigrette because it's a little bit more watery, it's a little bit more thin, and this will kind of go all over the salad. Now that we have the salad and the sauce ready, it's time to make the beef. All right, so as you can see, I had 2 pounds of ground beef to start, but unfortunately the burgers were really good, so I had to take a cube and make another patty out of that. And so what we're left with is a little bit of ground beef. So right now we have about, I want to say 300 grams of extra lean ground beef, 3/4 of a pound, whatever you want to call that, whatever that works out to. And so we're just gonna throw this onto the pan. Not really gonna put that much seasoning on it. The mac sauce is gonna be doing most of the talking. So yeah, we still want salt and pepper, of course, but I'm pretty sure you guys know how to make ground beef. So just throw this onto the pan, and I'm gonna break this up into like really small chunks. I'm gonna season that up with some salt and pepper. Now we're just seasoning this. That's the pepper, and now we're going for the salt. Put some salt in there. While the traditional salad would have bread croutons, we're trying to be a little bit more calorie conscious, a little bit more calorie wise, and we're gonna have some pickled chunks. So we're gonna chop these into chunks. What that's gonna do is it's still gonna give us that crunch that you normally get with croutons and salad, and just overall, I guess, enjoyment when it comes to that. So we're just gonna cut these into like little chunks. If you want, you can go even smaller, or you can do as many pickles as you want. Each pickle is only about 5 calories, so it's pretty calorie friendly to have these guys with you. So don't be shy on the pickles for sure. So one last thing we almost forgot is the cheese. So normally I would want to go for some shredded cheese, like some grated shredded cheese, but the grater that I ordered didn't come in time in the mail, so beef's cooking. The grater that I ordered didn't come in time in the mail, so we're gonna have to deal with some low calorie, light, low fat cheddar cheese. And so that's going to be what we're going for next. So I'm just going to chop this into little slices as thin as possible. All right, so those slices are looking pretty good. Yeah, so by the time we finish this, the beef should be cooked and we should be able to throw everything together. All right, so I'm just removing the beef off the heat right now. And now we can start with the assembly process. We're going to take our base, which is the lettuce. Then we're going to throw some beef in. This is coming fresh off the grill. All right.
Actually, so
now we're going to throw in some of these sauteed onions as well. So now we'll hit them with the cheese. All right. The cheese too. And now we got our croutons or pickles for that extra crunch. The second last step is going to be our dressing. So we made the big mac sauce, but we made this into a dressing by adding a little bit more pickle juice than we normally do, and that's going to give it that more dressing-like consistency. So as you guys can see,
be generous with that.
Yeah. And this is a high-protein, low-calorie sauce, so you can be generous with it. You don't need to be shy with this one. And then one last step, just for the finishing touch, is going to be something called sesame seeds. So we're going to throw some of these on. Just give it that little aesthetic finish. And as a garnish as well. Why not? And just like this, you got a Big Mac salad. And so in terms of the calories and everything, I'm going to break down everything in the description so you guys will have a good idea of how much everything costs calorie-wise and how much protein and everything is in here. I have a rough idea, but I don't want to say the wrong number on camera, so I'm just going to wait till I do my calculations first. So I'll let y'all know how it tastes. Oh, this is amazing. This actually tastes really good. It tastes really, really good. You guys can see all the ingredients are super clean. If you guys do have a hankering, or if you guys do have a craving for a Big Mac, either make the sandwich, but if you're kind of short on calories, this is a really good alternative. Obviously, like the salad, it just takes up so much space in your stomach. and like this romaine lettuce, like this whole lettuce, it really doesn't take up that much calories. It has probably about, for all of what we cut, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes less than like 20, 25 calories worth of salad, which is like this whole base. All the cheese is about 80 calories. So right now we're at 100. The pickles, we probably use about 3 or 4. Those are 5 each. So that's about 20 calories. So we're at 120. The beef, for the whole pack, I believe it's 855 calories. And we use 3/4. So take 600. Say 600 with the beef. Plus the 120. We're at 720 right now. And then what's left on this? The sauce. The sauce, it's made up of yolk. Okay, let's just say for the sauce that we did use, probably wouldn't put it more than like 70 or 80 calories. So all in, we're probably looking at around 800 calories. Again, those are rough calculations just based off of my understanding of macronutrients and whatnot. I'll give like a more exact breakdown once I calculate everything in the description of the video. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed these recipes in this video. If you guys do end up giving these recipes a try, definitely let me know. Either shoot me a message on IG, tag me, or whatever. Let me know how you guys find. Or just let me know in the comments, of course. And hope you guys have a good rest of your days. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the salad off screen because it's gonna get a little bit messy, you know? So